It is March 2023. Let's see what's happening in the drought tolerant garden. We have had so much rain this year. I have never seen the garden this green. Now, this part of the garden never really gets that green, kind of on purpose. It is a drought tolerant garden. So we've got our agaves and our aloes, the senecio, euphorbia, alocasia. This hasn't changed much. I always laugh about it. In my previous videos, I talk about all the plans that I have for this part of the yard, and just other things keep taking priority. But my wildflowers have literally gone wild with all the rain. Surprisingly, this side is not doing as well. I'm not really sure what's going on. I think I'm gonna guess there's some issue with the soil, because I had tons and tons of poppies and a lot of them are just crisping up even despite all the rain. I've been trying to keep the weeds at bay. It is pretty tough to do so, but I'm doing my best. And yeah, in other parts of our city, the California poppies are blooming and mine are not. So I'm not really sure what's happening there. Everything here is super green. This doesn't get quite as much direct sunlight, so that could be why, but here we go on this hillside. This always gets super green at this time of year. Of course, one of our agave attenuatas. Oh, I have to say, the mountains look pretty amazing right now. That is pretty cool. Our agave attenuata is in the last throes of its death bloom. This started blooming around November, October, December it was down, and it's almost done. I want to look at this cloud. This is pretty crazy looking over here. Going over to our other part of the hillside. This is where we have a lot more wildflowers put in. I've thrown in a bunch of my agave blue Americanas because they throw off so many pups. I just need to put them somewhere. So this might be another focus. This part of the yard, we might fix it up a bit. This corner, it hasn't grown in yet, but in my last video I was showing you I was kind of working on this corner. We have trimmed back the bird of paradise a good bit, and hopefully that's kind of opened up this area, and I think it might be a nice place to focus on soon. So yeah, that kind of part of the yard, who knows, that could be in the next focus, we'll see. But what I did want to show you is pretty cool. We'll go this way. This tree, I believe it's called a Victorian boxwood, it smells amazing. With all the rain, it has dropped so many flowers, it almost looks like snow. So that's kind of a cool phenomenon for now, until we need to clean it up, because as you'll see, it is like coated. All the succulents, the nasturtiums are still in full swing. One major change, you'll notice that I ended up taking out my little pond trough. It's kind of crazy how many flowers, like this has literally been in the space of 24 hours, all these flowers. They have completely covered this succulent tapestry. I'll have to come out here with the blower. I filled that in because the pond wasn't big enough to hold the water when I had the fountain going, and it was kind of stinky. So I think I'll need to either make a bigger pond or just a different solution to have a little water feature in the yard, because as it was, it just didn't really work out too well. So this kind of looks filled in because of all those flowers, but still a lot of filling in to do. The Pride of Madeira, it's about to bloom. I cut it back a good bit. It was getting really overgrown. So this is a volunteer that just landed itself in this yard about 2 years ago, and it's grown huge. It's kind of taken over, so I keep cutting it back, and I don't know. I'm kind of have medium feelings about this plant, but we'll see. I'll come back here. This again, it's so green. Our nice little lovely area here. The path is super green. The little gnome succulent garden is looking amazing. I've added a few more details. We got this kind of grass. I think that'll be fun. I've just cleaned up a gopher hole that was in the middle of that. So we'll see if that lasts. The aeoniums are looking amazing. The rain has meant that they've stayed out of dormancy. They're just looking fluffy and good. There's a few more succulents I've added to my succulent log, my crassula corner. Moving down here, this is a part of the yard I haven't really shown before. This is a fun addition. Welcome to our little neighborhood fairy garden. So we've added a few little cute touches out here. This will be an ongoing fun project, but a little fairy village. There's a sidewalk that cuts across our yard. We have a lot of neighbors with kids, including our own kids, who love checking this out. So this is going to be a fun ongoing project. In the front yard, one major difference is my organ pipe cactus that I added there a couple weeks ago. I did a whole video about that. Pretty happy with that. A little free plant find. This other cactus that I added, oh God, probably a year or two ago. No sign of blooms yet. I think it's been too rainy. Once it starts to warm up and get more springtime-ish, hopefully we'll see some blooms, because when it blooms, it is absolutely amazing. Might have to add some cactus fertilizer to it. We'll move along this little path, which again is green. Here's our fun gopher friend activity. But you can see everything is wet. It was raining just the other day. We've had quite a year with this atmospheric river. Here's obviously a part of the front that needs to be thought about, tinkered with. We'll see. I have some cactus that I might put in there. This is where I want my dry riverbed to start. So I have to think about what's going to happen in here. I'm going to do a wide shot because that's one thing I've found. The more I learn about my yard, the more I realize which parts of the yard get more sun and which parts get less sun. So we get a lot of direct sunlight here and it's a lot shadier here. I mean, you can kind of tell, right? All this greenery is from the shade. I almost call this like the agave hospital. This is where we put agaves that are looking kind of bad. We just throw them in there and they kind of start to come back to life because it's shaded and it's protected. So everything here stays a little bit more green. You can even see the euphorbia sticks on fire. The color is a lot more pale than this one because it gets so much less sunlight. In the morning, the sun comes from this direction. In the evening, it comes from this direction. So this stuff here gets a lot of sunshine. This has the bird of paradise that's kind of keeping it in the shade a little bit more. So yeah, again, this just gets so crazy and lush, there's almost no point in trying to tackle it. I had planted a few agaves in there and that was a little bit pointless because it's just completely overgrown now. Another Pride of Madeira that just volunteered itself. They just grow so quickly, so fast. So one of my big plans is to like tidy this up eventually. So with a drought tolerant garden, you need to know how it changes with the season. In the summer, this is just going to be parched. Those aeoniums are going to close up. So we need to think about other things that we're going to put in here. So it is valuable thinking about what you put in here, knowing, you know, stuff behind there is going to be protected by the trees. Stuff here is going to get hit with the sun. So that said, this gets hit with a lot of sun. So I've created a new like kind of aloe and agave corner. It's finally like starting to fill in. I am quite conscious of the fact that these agaves that I put in here, they're quite small right now, but they're gonna get huge. So that is one thing that I need to be aware of, but you know, we can always pull them out if they get too overgrown. So that's why there's a lot of space in between them now, but like say in a year from now, they are gonna be very different plants. So anything else in here? Yeah, the campfire plant, it kind of death bloomed out and then it has a lot of new baby pups coming down. And other than that, that's pretty much the front, the update on the front for now. I shall take you to this other corner. Our Kenchia palm isn't looking super happy. I'm hoping that the rain will kind of maybe let it settle in a little bit more. But I have found that I had a bunch of senecio here. It's just not getting enough sun and it gets real leggy and kind of ugly. So these are Graptivaria Fred Ives and they tend to like it with the more shade. I'm gonna add some more shade-loving aeoniums in here as well. This little corner is another one that I am currently working on. It was getting really overgrown. I like this way of adding some pottery with the succulent arrangement. I think it looks a little bit more put together. So I'm gonna pull out these succulents, tidy up the senecio, make it fit into the corner a little bit better, and then I think that'll look a little bit better. So that is a work in progress. I'm making a whole video about that one. And then these, I think they're called pea flowers. These are getting super overgrown. They were little teeny plants when we first moved in. They're getting so overgrown. My sunflowers, Mexican sage. We have a little raised planter bed. Again, with the flowers. They smell amazing. Bees love them. They're creating a mess, but it's okay for now. So we have some snow peas, some lettuce. There are potatoes in there. We're just gonna let that go for a little bit. Onto our hillside. The Pride of Madeira up here with all the rain, it started falling out, so we took it down. So this is a project to come, is to fix up this side of the hillside. Over there is our native California hillside, and that is something, it's always a work in progress, but it is spring, so it's looking great. We have so many blooms. These are not native Californians, these are more Mediterranean plants, but I've picked everything up here to help with the erosion. The ceanothus is in bloom, and these are just finally filling in. We have some red buckwheat. Those are from the Channel Islands, which is near to where we live. They are doing wonderfully. We have 2 manzanitas. They were blooming. Some yarrow, some more sage, salvias. Everything here is doing a wonderful job of holding in this hillside with all the rain we've had. If we hadn't planted these plants, we probably would have had a lot of mud down here. But so far they are doing their job. My little succulent corner, it's looking great, but it is definitely getting a little bit overgrown. So I'm sure I need to kind of pare this back and reset it. And then just all of my millions of propagation projects going on here. Just so many things happening in this yard. We have these planter boxes. This tangerine we've had for 2 years. It's finally blooming. Got some broccolinis, our Meyer lemon, which it definitely needed a good fertilizing. I've done that now, and we've got a lot of lemons, a very sad banana tree. Rosemary, super happy. This is like such a drought tolerant, happy plant. We just ignore it and it goes crazy. So that's another one that is definitely helping with some of the erosion control, and it brings tons of pollinators. So it's a good partner plant to have when you have other plants that you want pollinated, such as your lemons. So here we have a fig tree, a mission fig. This is a deciduous tree, which is why it's got no leaves, but there's little tiny buds popping in there. And my spring onions that have gone completely wild. So just some more things in the little propagation corner. And that is the update from March 2023 in the drought tolerant garden. Thanks so much for watching. I always love showing you around my yard. I'd love to do a tour of all the plants that I got for free. I think that's coming up next. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok for the more short form videos, and of course subscribe.